Hello everyone. Well, this is Kids Club, and it's Kids Club online, but it's not my back garden anymore. We're back at the church, and next week, hopefully, lots of you will be back here at the church, and you'll be having Kids Club together like we used to. But a few things have changed. First thing, this is the way you're going to come in. Tell mum or dad, or grandma or granddad, whoever's dropping you off, that they need to come in through the main gate to the front car park, and then in through these doors at the corner of the great big hall. The big hall where you usually play games, because we're going to do everything in that big hall. Okay, let's see what's going to happen with craft. When you come in, registration table will be right here near the door, and someone's going to write down your name and your details and put a nice star on the paper to show that you've come. At the end of term, Lucy will count up all the stars, and there will be prizes. More prizes for more stars, but prizes for everybody anyway who's come to Kids Club this term. Also, when you come to registration, whoever's doing registration today will check with whoever's brought you to say, is everyone in your family okay? They're all well, and it's safe and good for you to be at Kids Club today. Hi Rob.
Hello.
Can you put my name down please?
Sure. And a nice start for you.
Yes,
very
please.
nice
I
start.
want Lucy to know I've got one.
Okay, and you've been feeling well?
Yes, thank you.
Everyone
yes,
at home as
fine.
well?
Yes,
Yeah.
no one in my house is ill
Okay,
at the moment.
so you're going to go through then.
Okay, thanks very much. Also, just for mums and dads to know that anyone who's going to be at Kids Club, the children, or if you're staying with them, and all the helpers, will have to have details for all of you because of track and trace, because of the new government rules. And after registration, we're going to start with craft like we always do. The craft tables are over here at one side of the room, and there's going to be enough room for you to share a table just with brothers and sisters. If you haven't got brothers and sisters with you, a whole table of your own. Fantastic. It's nearly autumn, isn't it? Here we are in September, and it's changing. The weather is getting a little bit cooler most days. I think actually this week it's quite hot, but a lot of you are back at school for the autumn term, and I love seeing the trees, the leaves on the trees change colour. I like picking up red leaves and orange leaves that I find in the park or in the woods, and I like making things with them, perhaps hanging them up in my house to make it look pretty. But the leaves haven't changed colour yet, and when you do bring leaves home and you hang them up, they quickly go very brown and crinkly, and they don't last very long. So I thought we'd make some paper leaves and hang them up and make an autumn decoration to make our houses look nice. Okay, so I've collected some paper. This is an old envelope, look, it's red. Red is a good colour, isn't it, for fallen leaves? And I've got some scraps of paper, yellow and orange. You could use brown, couldn't you? All sorts of autumn colours. See which ones you can think of and what you can find. Ask around at home. You got a piece of orange, yellow, red, brown paper that I can use? But of course, if they haven't, well, I expect you've got some pens or some paint, and you can colour your leaves in. Right, where do we start? Well, Susanna's drawn me a nice leaf on there, look. You can draw leaf shapes. Excuse me. The easiest leaf shape to draw is like this, okay? If you want to do your leaves yourself. It's a bit like an egg or a lemon, okay? Can you see that? That's an easy leaf shape, and leaves just like that, but different colours, would look very nice hanging up. So if that's the kind of leaf that you're just learning to draw, that's going to look lovely. If you're a little bit older or a bit more adventurous with your drawing, you could draw some fancy leaves like this. Okay, I know when I've been walking in the park recently, I've seen lots of leaves this sort of shape. They sort of go in and out again, and in and out again. It's not a very good one, but does anybody know what kind of tree this is on? Well, that's on an oak tree. Okay, it's a very funny shaped leaf. Not a very good one, but oak leaves are a bit like that. Okay, so what you want to do is draw leaves on your paper. There's a couple of leaves on there as well, look. on the red envelope. Now I'm not going to cut these out now. I'll keep those for when I'm at home because I've done some cutting out already. Look, well, maybe I ought to cut out another red one because I've only got one red one. And I think, by the look of it, Susanna did that one. Okay, so maybe I will do those leaves. Okay, so have some scissors. If you're old enough, you can cut it out yourself. If you need help with scissors, I'm sure there's someone at home who will give you a hand. Okay, because this week, even though Robert and Susanna and I are at the church, you're at home. Okay, I hope you're still joining in though. Your houses are going to look very pretty if you make all the things that we've done in craft since we started doing Kids Club online. Have a think back. Anybody make butterflies? I know we made butterflies. I know we made mice because one family did that amazing film, didn't they, with the mice? Okay, but let's see how we can make this into something nice to hang up. Now, if you take your leaf shape, there's one of the very simple leaf shapes. To make that a little bit more like a leaf, draw from one pointy end to the other one, just a straight line. Okay, I'm using brown. Brown's quite a good colour for that, but you could use green maybe, or red. Okay, if you want, you can draw some more lines on it like that. You don't have to. I think I'm going to. These lines on a leaf are called veins because really they're tiny tubes and they carry all the water and all the things that the leaf needs around inside the leaf. Look, they're little tiny tubes. So that looks a bit more like a leaf, doesn't it? A bit less like a funny squash lemon. Okay. And if you want to make it, when it hangs up, a little bit more like a leaf, then just fold it lightly. Not put down and fold with your thumbnail, just fold it lightly. Okay. And open it up. So it's a bit more like a leaf. Okay. We can do that too with our funny shaped leaves. Look, I did another funny oak leaf earlier on. Don't think my oak leaves are very good, do you? I think I need to go back to the park and have a look at real ones. Okay, so a line down the length of my oak leaf. Perhaps just some little veins going off down the side. And just gently fold it. Gently fold it. And open it up again. Okay, so I'm going to have quite a lot of leaves by the time I've finished with all these. I don't think I'm going to have time to draw lines on them all now. Let's just do one or two more. Okay, I'm doing a very quick job like I normally do when I do craft and expecting that you're going to take longer than me because you're going to do it very carefully and make it very, very pretty. That's a funny one. That looks like a duck's foot to me, but I'm going to pretend it's a leaf and I'm going to do some veins going down the length of it. I do have a tree in my garden called a maple tree which has leaves a bit like that. Okay, and maybe one more oak leaf. So when we've got a few of these, we're going to make them into a bit like bunting. We made bunting before, didn't we, at Kids Club? But we're going to make something that will hang up. You can hang up in the room. Or if you really want to make your leaves a little bit smaller, you could hang them on a necklace. You have to be careful about necklaces though. Make sure that somebody big shows you how to make a safe one that you can use. Okay, so I've got some string. This is my nice brown string. Okay, I like this string very much. But I'm going to make a little bit of bunting just to show you. You can decide how big you want to make it. Make a little bit of leaf decoration to go up. So just like we did for the bunting, if you watched Kids Club during the time when you were at home every day, you will know I spend a lot of time looking for the end of the sellotape. Okay? Should I give it to Robert and let him have a go? I can't, he's holding the camera. I'd give up. Okay, there's got to have an end on it somewhere, hasn't it? I know what's happened. Someone hasn't cut it. They've torn it. It's got a funny long end. But you'll also know that this is how we made the bunting. Little bits of sellotape. All right, let's cut off the horrible end. That's a horrible end, isn't it? We don't want that one. Stick that over there. I'm going to stick the sellotape on the edge of my tape so I don't lose the end again. So you want the thin bits, a little thin bit of sellotape, just like that, okay? Stick it onto your leaf with lots of it sticking up. Can you see that? Okay. Then you can put your string just through and stick your sellotape down onto the back of your leaf. If you look, there's my leaf. Oh, it looks nice, doesn't it? Let's choose a leaf to go next to it. I think maybe a completely different one, a yellow one. I haven't bent these ones. I think they're nice when they've been bent a little bit. They look a little bit more leaf shape because leaves aren't really very flat. Okay, another little bit of sellotape. Stick it on your leaf at the top so that it sticks up, and choose how far along do I want it to be, perhaps that long. Okay. Oh, should we have one of Susanna's very pretty red ones? That one is very nice. Okay. Now, if you haven't got sticky tape, one thing that you could do is when you make your leaves, especially if you're making these big ones, you could ask somebody older than you to make a hole through. Or if you're old enough to use a needle and a thread, you could thread them on, sew them on. Okay? I've done that with some real leaves at home this morning. I've sewn them to hang them up. But really sticky tape is best for this because everybody can do that themselves. Okay, stick that onto the end. Stick it down over. Okay, see, my leaf garland is beginning to look very nice. I think that would look pretty actually on the front of the fireplace at home. So maybe I will hang it up there. And it'll make my house look cozy because I know that autumn's coming and it's going to start getting a bit colder and a bit windier and a bit wet. And we're going to have fun staying in where it's warm and cozy, reading lots of stories, watching favourite films, doing things together, playing games. Okay, so let's stick another leaf or two on. Let's see how patient is Robert going to be able to be there behind his camera. Another yellow one. Oh, another yellow one. Oh no, red next. Red next. Okay. Let's cut this piece of sellotape. Don't forget, if you take a picture, somebody takes a picture of your garland, I would love to see it. Don't often get to see pictures because not very many people take pictures of their craft, but some people do. And it's so nice to see what you've done. It's much more interesting than just seeing mine. Okay, one more. I'm going to stick it on one yellow one. Stick on a yellow oak leaf over here. And then you're really getting an idea, aren't you? I've got lots of leaves. I can make a huge, huge garland, couldn't I, with my leaves? There! Isn't that pretty? I think that would look really nice hanging up in your house, or it would make a nice present to give to Grandma or somebody, that they can see it and they can hang it up and make the house look pretty. Okay, time for singing now. For story time and for singing, you're going to have your own mats to sit on the floor to make sure that everybody is in the right place. But of course, if you're here with brothers and sisters, you could share a bigger one. There you are. So that's what's going to happen. We're going to have story and singing right here in the big hall. Right, time for singing. But something is different. Can you see what's different? No guitar. That's because I'm not really here. Okay, well I'm here today, but I might not be here for singing for a while, so we're going to have all the songs up on the big screen on the stage. And you'll be able to choose songs. You haven't been able to do that while you've been at home, so this is going to be really fun. Okay, anyone put their hands up? Who'd like a song? What was that? Okay, yeah, lovely. The wise man built his house on the rock. Okay, let's see if it comes up. Hope for the best. Nope. If you were listening to Kids Club last week, can you remember what we learnt about? I held up a piece of paper, didn't I? And it said, God made everything. God made everything. And we talked about that being the sensible view of how all the wonderful things around us came about. A better way to explain it, but also we know it's true because God has told us and he was there to tell us. He was the only person who was there when it all started. God made everything. This week, we're going to look at something else that God did. Okay, God made everything. God made something else, not something he made, something you can see, but God made rules. God made laws. Rules that you have to keep in the world that God made. And these are good rules. Now, if you make something and it's yours, then you can make the rules about how it's used. And God made everything, and he can make the rules about how it's used. And the great thing about God's rules is that they're good rules. They're rules that if everybody kept them, the world would be a wonderful place. And it was a wonderful place, definitely, all wonderful. We had a memory verse last week. It said, God saw everything that he'd made, and it was very good. Even God could look at it and say it is very good. There was nothing bad, nothing wrong to see, because it was very good. It was what we would say perfect. But it's not perfect now, is it? I looked at lots of lovely things last week. I keep, when I go out in the sunshine, seeing flowers and leaves on the trees, and I hear birds singing. It's full of wonderful, beautiful things, this world that we live in. But there are bad things as well. The lovely things that I see, the flowers in my garden, the birds singing, well, all those things will fade and they will die. And it's the same with us. We have our lives and we do lots of things that we enjoy, but one day our lives will come to an end. And it wasn't going to be like that in the beginning. Everything was very good. There was no illness. There was no death. There was no fighting. There was no lying. There was no nastiness. Can you imagine not having any of that? Nothing going wrong. It was very good. But it's not like it now. So where did it change? Well, it changed very near the beginning, and that's very sad, isn't it? Because God gave rules. He made rules about how the world should be used, and what happened was somebody broke the rules. I'm sure you know the story about the first man and the first woman, Adam and his wife Eve, and how they broke the one rule. One rule. It's hard sometimes. We have lots of rules to keep. At the moment, we have lots of rules from the government about what we can do, where we can go, how many people we can meet. And sometimes it's hard to remember them all, isn't it? We have to stop and think. If we only had one rule, well, we think that would be easy. But I think that we might have made the same mistake as Adam and his wife, because they stopped and listened to what the devil told them. He came to them, looking like a snake, and said, if you break God's rule, if you take the fruit that God said you mustn't take, it's not going to kill you, you won't die. You will be like God. What Adam and Eve shouldn't have been thinking, I want to be like God, should they? Being in charge, knowing everything. They didn't need that. They had everything they could possibly want. But they listened to what the devil told them instead. They began to wonder if God was really as kind to them as they'd always known he was. They began to wonder whether God could really be trusted to do what was best for them. And so they broke God's one rule. And that was that. The perfect had gone. The world wasn't perfect anymore, was it? Something bad had happened. Something awful. They had said, God is a liar. God didn't tell us the truth about this. They had said, all these things that God's given us, this perfect world, is not enough. I want more. I want to be God. And so they spoilt the amazing, beautiful, perfect world that God had made. And part of what God did because of that was to stop keeping everything perfect and to allow there to be things that weren't perfect in this world. I'm sure you heard me say before that when I go and dig in my garden and I grow plants, flowers and vegetables, it's not easy because it's always a fight. I have to save my vegetables and my flowers from the slugs and the snails. I have to work hard to dig my ground. Sometimes it hurts. Sometimes I think, oh, my back hurts. Things aren't easy like they were for Adam when he was put to work a beautiful garden. He had work to do. Work's not a bad thing. But getting so tired that you feel like you can't do anymore, wearing out, and things going wrong, and things being a fight and a struggle, those things are part of what we call the fallen world. It hasn't fallen somewhere, but it's fallen from being perfect to being not perfect. So that's why the world around us now isn't perfect. God made rules, good rules. Good idea to have rules. Have you ever tried playing a game without the rules that the person who made the game made up? Let's see how it goes.
Wait. But what are you doing? You landed on a snake ready to go down the snake. No. Yeah, I can't be bothered to play like that. I'm playing it so that when I land on the head of a snake, I go on. I expect
The rules are you go down
like that, and then the snake go
again.
again.
Ladder.
Yeah, I know you can play like that, but I don't want to play like that. I'll play it my way because this is more fun and it makes me win.
That's what the point of the game. The point of the game is fair, right? I could go down all my snakes.
But
I've
who
got
really cares about
the
rules
rules
anyway?
and then just change the rules.
No. This is much better because look, if I went down all that way, down that snake, I'd be behind you, and the moment I'm in front of you,
I know,
I'm
it's a
gonna play
game.
that.
They have rules
I'm
and
gonna
stick
play
to
my
rules.
rules.
That's makes
That
the
way
game
if I
fair.
win. Otherwise, it may as well just be like, I don't know, it doesn't work if you don't stick to the rules. Your rules are rubbish, my rules are amazing. Look, you can't, this game, I don't care who made the game up, I'm playing it. So,
You need to stick to the
I'll
rules.
do what I
the
want
person
to
who made the game made.
otherwise
Because
that
game
doesn't
doesn't
work,
work.
does it?
There you see. Now that game could have been fun. It could have been a nice thing to do. But it was spoilt, wasn't it? It was spoilt because one of the players wouldn't keep the rules that the person who made the game made up. It was so easy for him to keep the rules, but he wouldn't do it. I want to make my rules. And we say that every time we do something wrong, we say that about not a game, which doesn't matter very much, but about the world that God has made. We say, I don't want God's good rules. I want to make my own. And that is sin. Sin is doing the things that God has said no to and not doing the things that God has said we should do when we live in his world that he made. If you've been to Kids Club before, we have Kids Club rules. I looked in the cupboard, I couldn't find them, but we have something like this, and it has Kids Club rules on them. There aren't very many of them. You have a think, see if you can remember any. I think one of them is that you should listen when the leaders are talking to you and not just make a noise or talk yourself. One of them is, if you want to ask a question, what should you do? You all know this, don't you? Put your hand up. That's right. And the one that we all know, we always all remember, watch out for the younger children. Take care of them so that they don't get hurt, or if they don't understand what they should be doing, you help them. Now those rules are good, aren't they? Those are rules that Lucy and the rest of us made up because we wanted you to be happy and safe at Kids Club. And they're good rules and they work. And sometimes when we think, oh, perhaps it wasn't so much fun last week, when we come to Kids Club, we hold the board up again and we say, let's remember the Kids Club rules. Because we want everybody here to be safe and to be happy. God's rules are even better than our rules, much, much better. And he made them and he gave them because he wanted everybody in his world to be safe and happy. And when we break God's rules, when we sin, we do something that God says no to, or we won't do what he tells us, we break his rules, then we spoil something about the world that he's given us, and we stop it being safe and happy for everybody. At the moment, a lot of people are saying to each other, stay safe and be happy. The only way, really, that people can stay safe and be happy is to do things God's way, because that's the way to live in a world that God has made. So we've learnt two things, haven't we, already, this term in Kids Club. God made everything, and God made rules. So God made the world, and God made the rules for living in it. It's sad that they get broken, but God has done a wonderful thing. He's given us a way to have all the bad things that we've done wiped away. And that's by putting our trust in the Lord Jesus. I'm sure this term at Kids Club we'll be talking more about that, so that you know the good news, the best news, that though the world is spoilt, and though it's us who've spoilt it, God has given us a way to get back to being his friends. That's amazing. Now, we've got a memory verse for this week. This is something that Jesus said. Okay, can you see? I'll tell you what it says. Jesus said, "If you love me, keep my commandments." And that's in John's book about Jesus. So it's John 14, verse 15. Well, that's easy to remember, isn't it? 14 and then 15, if you're good with numbers. 14, 15. Okay. Say it again. Jesus said, "If you love me, keep my commandments." This long word, let's see it there, commandments, is the same as the word rules or laws. Okay? So Jesus said, if you love me, keep my rules. But it's good to learn the long word, so we're going to use the long word, commandments. Okay? Jesus said, if you love me, keep my commandments. If someone said to you, do you love God? Do you love the Lord Jesus? You might want to say yes, because you might think, well, they want me to say yes. I know that's a good thing. I know it's better to love the Lord Jesus than to hate the Lord Jesus. But Jesus said, this is how you show whether you really do. If you love me, keep my commandments, keep my rules. If we love Jesus, then we'll want to do the things that he's told us to do and stop doing the things he said no about. We'll want to do our bit to make his world as it should be. Okay, so let's try saying it. Say it one more time. Say it with me. Jesus said, if you love me, keep my commandments. John 14, verse 15. We're going to put this up at the end of Kids Club Online today, so that if someone can print that off or copy it for you, you can colour it in.
Hey, you right? Hi, good, how are you? Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, look, can I just give you some words of advice? Yeah. Like, why get your hair cut? Like, I don't want to be rude or anything, but it looks really bad right now. You look like I don't know what it is, like, yeah, it's bad. It's really bad look. Yeah. Have you looked in the mirror recently?
Got off a bit of cut.
You looked in the mirror recently? No, I don't tend to. It gives me nightmares. Okay, because yours is just kind of, you know, just kind of. Oh dear. Yeah, it's not good.
See what you mean.
Yeah. Maybe we should both get it cut. I think that might be a good idea. Yeah. No, we can't do it now because we've got Kids Club game.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's the last Kids Club online.
Last one?
Really? Because next week we're going back to church.
Oh,
Okay.
and haircut afterwards?
Yeah, I think that's good.
That's good.
Okay, welcome back to the Kids Club game time. Today is the last Kids Club online because next week we'll be going back to church. So today we were thinking we could play Simon Says. If you're up for that, Simon? Yeah, that's good. Yeah, okay, so you will know how this works. Everything Simon says you have to do, everything I say you mustn't do. Basic, very simple. If you want to get started with us, Simon. Okay, so put your hand on your head and hand on your head. Okay, you shouldn't have put your hand on your head because I told you to, not Simon. You should have done it the first time, but not the second time. Okay, so put your hand on your nose and put your hands on your toes. Okay, and turn around and put your hands in the air. Both hands in the air. Turn around. Okay, remember, you mustn't turn around because I told you to not to. Okay, yeah, don't do what I say. Okay, what should I do? What should I do? Jump up and down, and then touch your toes, and your hands in the air, and touch your nose again, and touch your ears, and turn around again, and then touch your toes, turn around again. Okay, you must have done you shouldn't do all the things I say, you should do all the things he says. You should know this by now. Yeah, you should know. Play this enough times. Okay, put your hands in the air. Stop saying everything I say, just like straight on. Put your left hand up. Put your right hand up. Jump it down. Look.
Turn
Okay,
around.
so I'm saying things sometimes. You are. I'm trying to say things, you just keep saying. Okay, so don't do anything he says, do all the things I say, okay? So, put your left hand in the air, put your right hand in the air, turn around 3 times. Why do you just keep saying the same things as I say? We should possibly end it there for today. Yeah, I think so. End it there for the entire Kids Club online season. Because we're about to have to end it next week. So, I hope you have a really good week and I hope you'll be able to come back next week. We won't be here, but there'll be other people here to play games with you. And we will see you sometime, who knows. And obviously, if you aren't able to go to Kids Club because you're unwell or something like that, you can always go back and watch some of the old Kids Club online, so they'll still be on the website. Other than that, I think that's everything. Oh, also, there is a memory verse and the link down below that you can print off and colour in and colour in stuff and stuff. It's a bit fun. Yeah, we're going to go and get our haircuts, and I hope you have a really good week and term and, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Have fun, guys. Do you think we should, because it's the last time, we should maybe... Yes! And then it'll be like, people like, when we like, and then, whoa, and then we're like, ow, and they're like, oh, what happened? Yeah, I think we should. It's basically just my head. Yes. Yeah, do you think? 3, 2, 1.